and welcome to Practicing Talking. It's F56. I don't know. And that's quite a lot, but in another way, it's not. Look, when I look at my other blogs, I pretty well did 100 shows, both of them. And that's kind of decimal base. But since then, I wrote this book based on this Abyssinian, Babylonian number systems. It was really quite interesting. Like the reason we have a 60-second in a minute and 60 minutes an hour, that's all based on 60. And that number system came from Abyssinia, Babylonia. That matters more to me now. I would think when we get to episode 60, we should celebrate. I've got big things planned for tomorrow. I want to try to take a bunch of shots that all fit on my phone because I've cleaned it off pretty heavily. I deleted a couple apps stupidly. I mean, 16 gig on a phone when the system uses like 10 gig and your apps use like 5 gig. So you got 1 gig to do shows, and that's pretty tricky. But now I probably got 3 or 4 cleaned off. And maybe I'll be able to do a multi-shot show because really staring at myself, talking from bed is pretty old. But I mean, the antibiotics kind of working, so I need to just be polite now and finish it because really this whole problem goes back to me wanting to get out of the hospital early. It's pretty hard being submissive. It's not really my standard way. I sometimes find it hard to take orders from everybody. I mean, right now, these ladies, they come at 8 o'clock in the morning and 12 noon, but leave me alone for 3 or 4 hours then. That's fine, unless I need something. If I do, then I'm out of luck. I phoned my wife, and she lives in West Van these days, so I'm on my own. You guys and me, we're together. You're my company, because I'm lonely. I mean, I watched a lot of idealistic shows on YouTube, but then I realized they won't come up on your screen because I'm so old school. I didn't really get that YouTube is AI based. Like the things that come up for me are different than what will come up for you. That's just how it is now. In the old days, it was like if I said something was on the front page of YouTube, probably that's because I did a search or something and it made some kind of diagram of who I am and what I think. So, like the stories they're putting up are quite idealistic right now and entrepreneurial. But I'm not very entrepreneurial. I had my own software company, but really, then I wrote books for a few years. Maybe that was about I did writing those books. Because, I mean, they're pretty good books, or at least. I always wanted to take some time off and write books, but I can't get published. I was going to point to an important talk that Bruce Sterling gave at South by Southwest, but that was a few years ago, and I might not find it. But he talks about disruption. And now there's a show on CBC called The Disruptors. So he's kind of putting some memes out in the world. But this is life. And I mean, retractions were a thing I need to talk about. Like when I talked about the bloggers on YouTube, I talked about Sarah Peachy. She's really Sarah Beachy. Oh no, Dichi, sorry. And I got that wrong. And then I talked about Louis. It's Louis Cole. I didn't know his last name. And then what happened? I was talking about the antibiotics that Sue gave, or the doctors gave me. Then I got that name wrong. I still don't know. I still don't know it though. It was erythromycin that I did wrong. And now it's something else myosin. It's life. And then, well, that's all the rejections I came up with. I mean, and that and the AI thing. Like a lot of the stuff I say is based on the web being hard coded. But a lot of stuff is moving around now. It's not hard coded at all. And what else? Yeah. So this is the third shot in this rant. Always, I'm doing practicing just talking, and that's going to go well. And probably practicing walking could go well too, if I get my buddy over here to turn my chair around over there, and I do some stands. I did 10 sit-to stands for last month, 2 months ago. So hopefully that'll go quickly. And then I'll get on my walking. I've got walking rails outside. Like, I don't know. It should work. Get practicing talking and practicing walking down. I want to talk about getting off carbon, but really, I don't have money for that. That's going to be a bit of a gambit. I could do it if I got these blogs good enough that I could get paid. Maybe that's the way to do it. So, what do I do? Oh, tomorrow I'm going to try to do a multi-shot thing with lots of points of view, lots of angles. We'll see if that works. But really, like, if I could walk and talk, I was off carbon, then I'd have to focus on things like vertical gardening, which is not really my area. It's like, holy moly. I mean, probably I could do computer models that show that light is dispersed better on vertical gardens. But, man, that's kind of a tricky gambit. It's like up in the Okanagan, I have 250 acres, and my neighbor has, 60 or 70 acres. But all the ranches up there have bunch acres, and they have vegetable garden by their house. A little, like, 1/8 of an acre vegetable garden, and they can grow enough food there for the feed the family all year. So if it matters at all for gardening, really it's all about getting people off beef, because beef wastes land. Yeah, a lot of land is taken up by beef, but if everyone was vegetarian, it'd probably be better. Big deal. And sure, we could grow vertical gardens, because in the future, like 2050, I think the food production has to like go up by 10 or something. No, it's like if you want to leave some land for nature, you have to get better at farming. And the trick there is to create vertical gardens, I think. Don't know. That story wordings, I've done 3 readings of it now. It's finished now. So that's the only story I ever tried to get published. Like, I found someone who finally would read my stuff, and I handed in that story, and I got rejected. It was like the only rejection slip I've ever got, because really just getting rejected is hard. It's like these people are pretty, like publishing old school paper books and stories is a really lousy way to make money these days. So they're kind of all about not reading much stuff. But the barriers to entry on YouTube are zero. So maybe I should just read my books on YouTube. Not. Yeah, maybe. Don't know, because somehow I have to make money. I mean, watching all these idealistic things about Elon Musk and the Google guy this morning, I was amazed how entrepreneurial those guys are. Because, I mean, it's hard. Like, entrepreneurialism's hard. Like, my software company never made a cent. Really, QuickTime VR was kind of a dead end. But, I don't know. As Buckminster Fuller would say, evolution makes many starts. It's like when things fail, sometimes that means they just have to be tried again. But how do you know? It's like I was so blown away by those entrepreneurial guys. They actually managed to succeed where I failed. I find making money difficult. I'm just living off my family wealth. But anyway, what happens then? Um, so what? No, don't stop, man. Keep talking. It's like I'm letting this show go on forever because I just think I should keep talking and not quiet down, because sometimes the interesting stuff comes out when you've said everything. I mean, is Apple going to put a flash killer movie technology? Well, maybe. I don't know. I mean, what we were working on then, those days, was really MP4. And MP4 came out, but really it's the whole industry. Like, Apple never really got a handle on it. But yeah, I get several inklings that they might have something in the bag. They certainly have money now. They didn't in those days. I was like afraid to ask for features because they were such losers. I thought those because this Gambit is not going anywhere. That was QuickTime. But I don't know. I think maybe they have something in their pockets. We'll have to see.